Hello, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay there getting started, but it's been a whirlwind morning already, but it's time for streaming, so we're going to do that. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get somewhere close to finished with this unlock screen, which I was working on, what was it? Friday evening and Saturday. So I'll show you how that's all going, but before I get into it, I want to remind you all that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting, so please go ahead and wishlist it. That's a great way to help me out. And yeah, it's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds and synergies. So if that sounds good, definitely give it a wishlist. Check out the Steam page, would appreciate that. You can also support the game on Patreon. If you subscribe at the top tier here for at least 1 month, I'm going to send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, so you won't have to purchase it on Steam. And I'm also going to put your name in the Alchemortis in-game credits. So that'll just be a nice little reward for supporting the development of the game early. And you can also support me by purchasing one of my Udemy courses. This is the online co-op multiplayer course, which teaches you how to use the online features of Godot 4. So if you're interested in that, check those out as well. You can also join the Discord. That's linked below. Everything's linked below. I think everything's linked below. And if nothing's linked below, then oh well. No, let me know if something's not there and I'll fix it. But anyway, let's take a look at the Sprite file here and take a look at this unlock mockup. So I posted this in the Discord, so maybe a lot of you have seen it, but the unlocks panel is looking a lot better now. We got the vines finished here, which we did on stream on Friday, but I finished the border part as well, kind of made it look like stacked stone pillars to some extent. So this is looking all right, I think. And now we basically just have to handle the interior parts. Those parts have not been done yet. It also looks like this is not totally correct. So the mock-up here has deviated slightly from what's actually in game, so I'm going to need to disentangle some of that stuff, I think. But that's okay. Anyway, I forgot to have my little stream chat thing running, but good morning, Chris. I can't highlight your comment, unfortunately. And also, good morning to you, Nathan. And now we can highlight the comments, starting with Bubblegum Lord here. Hello, Bubblegum Lord, welcome. TK421, welcome back. Good to see you again. Monkey Software, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Everyone's favorite day of the week. So have I actually put this into the game yet? I don't think so. Yeah, I haven't gotten the updated version in the game. So what do I want to do about this? Can I get rid of this? Can I select a whole group? Does that just like... No. So I got to select all these individually. That'll work. And then I got to select all these as well. Export. This is the outer panel. And we throw that in game. That is looking pretty darn good. And it probably has changed in size a little bit as well. 490 by 345. So we're going to change this one to 490 by 345. I suppose I could just use a texture rect for that. That would probably be easier. Maybe I should do that. I don't know why I'm using a sprite necessarily. So let's change this control. Oh, you know what? I'm going to need to layer these actually. So let me think about this. I actually shouldn't include the background. Let me think. I just want the border part. Looks really good. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think it turned out good. Yeah. Probably one of the better UIs in the game, if not the best. Okay, so we're going to do all this stuff again. I wish there was I mean, there's probably a way to do this, but I really wish there was an easier way to just export an entire group as an image, trimmed though. Anyway, and then I got to do selected layers, export. Okay, so we got rid of the background now. So this outer panel here, this is actually going to be rendered on top of everything. So I actually do want to keep this control here. That's basically just, this control is basically just occupying the same space as the image itself. But if I put this outer panel down here now it renders on top of everything. So that's what I wanted. So you can see how the vines are kind of dipping in front of the buttons and whatnot here. I may want to change that. I may want to just modify this margin top ever so slightly. Maybe something like 42 is appropriate. But I think generally speaking, this is looking pretty good. Margin bottom. This margin container, yeah, we can move this margin bottom up. Like that. This margin container contains the VBox container. Then we've got this margin container here. Okay, let's just see if this works. Okay. Looks good. Now I actually might want to modify these a little bit. I think that these panels are a little bit too thick. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, oh, maybe those are the same thickness. Maybe not, though. This artifact is not correct. Inner panel margin container. This is wrong. I have so many margin containers here. There we go. Cats are being annoying. What else is new? So I probably do want this to be 8 pixels from the bottom. Get all this sizing working correctly. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. I can probably move this up a little bit too, but we can play with the paddings and whatnot later, but I do like how this is all over top of everything now. So I get the nice like vines looking like they're on top of everything. All right. So that's looking pretty decent. Can't really complain too much about that. So it's these inner panels now that need to be handled. And the nice thing is that I'm just using the same inner panels for basically everything. So once I get those in place, then that should be good. But I want to check, why is that so thick? Oh, you know what? Unlock item placeholder. So how thick is this? That is 4 pixels. And this is also, okay, so they're the same. Oh, that's only 3 there. Oh. I wonder how I missed that. Is this 3 as well? That is also 3, okay. All right, so anyway, we can get rid of this outer panel now, for now. And we're gonna bring this interior, this inner panel. We can edit this now. I'm going to take the same approach that I took. Should probably do that. Is that going to work? Okay, good. So we can just bring this down. I'm going to do the same thing that I did. Why does that look weird? Not now, cat. Do you want to go on the stream? Come here. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? I caught him. I caught the cat. Look at that belly. Oh my gosh, you're chunky. You're getting chunky. Who is feeding you too much? So what I did with this outer panel here is I took... Is this also... This looks a little bit thicker here. No, that is also... No, that's 5 pixels, right? So that's 5 pixels across. This is 4 pixels across. Oh, I'm going to need to shrink this in a little bit as well. Okay. Do I need to shrink it in? I need to shrink it in from the left. 2 pixels that way, and then 2 pixels this way. Okay, that's fine. Let's get rid of the outer panel here. Let's put this background up. This just solid background so I can see what I'm doing. We can move the interior up just a little bit. Yeah, something like that is good enough. All right, so then we just do the highlighting like I've been doing. We're going to do a little bit of a thinner highlight this time, though, because it's a thinner thingamabob. Okay. I should be putting this in place as well. Do I want to make these highlights thicker? I mean, I guess I could. Do I want to do that? I don't think so. I think we'll keep it just 1. We'll just keep it to 1 here. Alrighty, and then I think I just did, I don't know, I just did like this, kind of like haphazardly cut these up. Like that. Oh my gosh, this cat won't stop meowing. Just cut out some of these corners here. Okay, that should work. Oh, I think what I did up here is I kind of did angled ones for this. Yeah. So we'll do that. And then same down here. I'm just doing it perfectly symmetrically to save time. Like I said on Friday, you know, what I could do if I wanted to be really detailed is do each side differently so it doesn't look so uniform. But I don't think it matters that much. So I'm not going to do that. Fines. Okay. So then start filling these in a little bit. I can also make this less uniform by cutting it up a little bit more, I think. I don't know. Maybe not. Oh, that looks okay. Yeah, that'll work. I guess I probably need to do both sides. Do I need to do both sides? Actually, maybe I just did the wrong side to begin with. Oh wait, no, that one is good. What am I getting messed up here? Oh, that's probably okay, actually. Yeah, that's probably okay. And here, same thing. Just do like this, basically. Okay, that should be good. Could maybe do a little bit, well, do I want to do a little bit thicker there? I could get rid of this, actually. Yeah, that's probably all right. Okay, and then we can just put some rough imperfections here. Put a couple of these guys on here. Okay. All things considered, it's pretty simple. We won't do one right there. We'll just do a small one here, and then we'll do a couple there. Okay. And then here, here. All right, we're almost done with this. And I just need to do the same thing with the lighter parts here. Oh, I forgot to do this side as well. Do like that. Like this. Okay. Oh, yeah, almost done. Well, not quite almost done, but we'll get there. Can I help you? Okay. Sack of jelly beans. I got that fire belly, yeah. Welcome, John Kuboy. John K. Kuboy, welcome back. Good morning, Ninja Link. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm so ready to be done with this UI here. I'm actually like I'm really happy with how it turned out or how it's turning out, but at the same time, this has not been the most fun thing in the world to work on. But I'm doing it for you all. I'm doing it for you all. I'm making such a large personal sacrifice to make this game good for everyone. I will take your applause now. Oh my goodness. Imagine if you were actually like that. I fortunately don't know anyone actually like that, so that's good. Oh yeah, I probably want to put some highlights in these corner parts as well. So wherever these are being highlighted. Yeah. Oh my gosh, cat, can you stop, please? He's just sitting in the doorway meowing softly at me. He needs attention and I cannot give it to him. Okay. Okay, did I miss anything? Okay, it looks decent enough, I suppose. All right, let's see if I can export this now. Inner panel. I'm gonna have to play with the margins and whatnot again, I think. Yeah, so I think there's only one pixel on that side and there's no pixels on that, or it got shifted over somehow. So let's take a look at this margin container here. Yeah, so this margin container, margin left 6, margin right needs to be... Now, wait a second. What is going on here? This inner panel is not the right size. Inner panel sprite is what? 438 by 253. So this margin container needs to be 438 by 253. Oh, I need to put... What? 438 by 253. Why is there an extra pixel down here? Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I put an extra pixel in the... Oh, I did. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Well, I mean, I probably should outline this anyway, so maybe I'll do that before I go too deep on that. So let's give this an outline real quick, and we'll re-export it again. Yeah, that's probably good. All right. Try this again. All right. This is now 440 by 254. Now what I want here in this margin container, margin bottom should just be, let's see, if I just do 6, I probably want it to be 7. Well, no, the interior parts are going to have their own outlines as well, which should give it a 2, because I want a 2 pixel border between these inner parts. So I think that should actually be okay. But this down here. What is not working about this? I guess I just need to modify this separation. No, actually, let's not do that. Let's put a separation of 0 here. And what I'll do with this inner panel is I will tell it to shrink end. Oh, the custom minimum size is not correct. 254. I wonder why that didn't take. Okay, there we go. There we go. So now this margin container here, I should be able to set that to margin bottom 1. Okay. That was a little bit finicky, but we got it. So is it 1 on all sides? It should be. There we go. Yeah. All right, let's see what this looks like now. Which UI are we working on? The unlocks UI. There we go. Look at that. So we just got to get these inner parts working now. Which should be fine. I probably want to redo the scroll bar as well. This looks a little bit weird. Wonder if I could just do a stone kind of looking scroll bar as well. But there we go. Probably not going to put the encyclopedia here now that I think about it, because there is a category of unlock which is something that is available to you in the game, but it won't show up in your like compendium until you, well, yeah, until you encounter it or acquire it in game. So I actually don't know, because like there's two different categories of like unlocks. There's the unlocks which require explicit goals to unlock them. And then there are unlocks which are technically available to you from the get-go, but I don't want to show them in like a codex or a compendium until you've actually acquired them in-game. So for example, if I have the flagrum, if that's not tied to any particular condition to unlock it, I still want it to show it as locked until the player actually puts it in their combat or inventory boards. And so I don't really know where to put that. Ooh, did I just get a crash? I did. Oh no, I should have looked at the log. Son of a biscuit. That's all right. Hello, ASJD. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. It's time for Game Dev once again. Hello, Jackie Daytona. Always good to see you as well. So yeah, it seems like there is a crash sometimes when I go to instantiate cards. I think that's mostly when the crash... Yeah, there goes the crash again. Okay. So why is that crash happening? We're going to have to figure that out. Unexpected error calling get property list. Condition GC handle is released. So this might be related to... Okay. Well, this might help. Okay, let me log that real quick. Crash on card instantiation sometimes. Reproducible by quickly switching on and off the card packs. Unlock section in unlock screen. This is not the best place to put error messages, but that's okay. I think I can like link this to another note if I wanted to, but it's fine. As long as I have that logged somewhere. What I might also do is I might just rename this to card crash and just store that just so I can read it easier. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. Will it support other language? Then language translation will mess up the size, right? That is a problem for future Firebelly. Okay. So we just need to do these parts now. A lot of this part of the item, well, this needs to be tileable as well. Let me look at what I'm actually doing here. So unlock item placeholder. This is a panel container. Is this a panel container? Yeah. Okay, so that panel container has that. This design here. So I'll probably just do something similar. Where is that? If I look at my panel container, unlock item panel container styles here. So this texture is item border. Okay, we'll call this item border here. Let's get rid of all these things. So what I need to do is basically, let's make this. Is there an easy, oh yeah, there's an easy way to see the centering. There we go. Okay. So if I do this, and I do that, and then this, and that, what I should be able to do is just like divide that there and divide this a couple times. I might actually do, let's see. Trying to think of how I want to divide this. Maybe I'll just do something like, because it needs to be tileable, that's the thing. So if I just do a couple of like even sections here. Maybe we can get this to work. Then I do that. Do this. Bring this across, bring that across. We'll just do this very basic to start. So this one has to be done a little bit differently in terms of the style because I want it to be nice when it gets tiled. So I'm going to try to do this one a little bit more uniformly, I think. But, you know, we'll still add some different decorations and whatnot to make it look decent. So yeah, that looks fine. And then here we'll just move a couple of these out. Do this. Yeah, that'll work. Maybe these should be consistent like that. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then here we want to do that and do this. Okay. Just go ahead and add these little imperfections. That'll work. Yeah. Yep. Just doing this. Okay. Put an outline on that. Bam. Now the vertical part, that's going to be a little bit tricky. But let's just see how the item border looks by itself. Oh, did I have a... What is that now? What is this? Oh, I gotta change the tile options, I think. Sub-region. Pixel snap. I think that's right. There we go. So now that tiles pretty decently. We've got some weird stuff here, but that's okay. Okay. I think that'll look fine. It's going to look a little bit weird at certain sizes, but should be perfectly serviceable. Oh my. What happened here? Oh, I forgot to retoggle the visibility of that, that's why. So we've got these. These have a negative separation in this unlock item container here. So I think this probably needs to be -6 as the separation. Or maybe even -7. Is it -7? Let's see. Yeah. So basically I make them all overlap with each other so that they share a border instead of doubling up the border. So they'll share these middle parts, and that's just setting a negative separation on the VBox container so that they slightly overlap each other. And yeah, that's what we got going on. Okay, so that seems to work. And then I need to do these vertical bar parts as well. Also, it looks like we've got a little bit of a problem there. Actually, I wonder if I could I just delete the bottom part? Let me think about this. Can I delete the bottom part here? Let's duplicate this item border. Alternate. If I remove the bottom border like so, that might actually work better. Let's try that. Now I'm going to have to edit this region again. We get the unlock item, so now it doesn't have a... Well, where is that? It should have a cap at least. Oh, maybe not. Well, all right, we'll figure that out. But this item unlock container, maybe this has... I don't know what the separation is going to have to be now, but we'll see. Skulls in the corners look great. I could never make those. Thank you, iCode for food. I appreciate that. Skulls have been a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult for me to draw. Okay, so it looks like that margin is a little bit much. Let's do a 0 margin. -2, -3 maybe? Yeah. So here it is with a -3 margin now. So yeah, all these borders are being shared now, which is good. Looks like I've got some issues with the padding and whatnot here, but that's okay. Can fix that separately. I think that looks good. I'm almost wondering if it's going to be too noisy if I do that vertical bar. So what if I get rid of that vertical bar? Maybe I should have it. I don't know. Now this is going to be a problem until I have multiple card packs. It doesn't have a bottom because I deleted that part. So that bottom being missing from the panel container only really works if the scroll container is active. And I scroll to the bottom here. The other thing I could do is I could just make the last item in the list have the full version of the panel container. So I can kind of fake it. So these ones won't have a bottom border, and then the last one will. But I think most of these are going to have the scroll enabled, so maybe I don't need to worry about that just yet. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good. I think it looks fine. Do I want to do the vertical bar though? I probably should actually. Maybe I'll make the vertical bar. Will it look weird if it's a little bit thinner though? Maybe. Is that vertical bar a solid size? Vertical margin container. I don't have a custom minimum size on this, do I? I have a custom minimum width for the 9 patch. I mean, I might just be lazy here. You know what I could do for the 9 patch actually? Let's take this. We're gonna change the texture. Yeah, we're gonna be lazy. We're gonna be a little bit lazy here. Let's change this texture to item border, like so. And then for the edit region here, we're just gonna yoink this over. Oh wait. Yoink this. Yeah, yoink that over. Like this. Well, that's not gonna work with that cap, so I may need to draw something else there, but also this needs to be, is that 7 pixels now? Let me just see how that looks, and then I can tweak it as necessary. I think there's a problem with this margin container here. Do I need this margin container still? I actually don't think so. Let's just put the margin, the 9 patch rect there. We're having fun with some UI, I guess. Okay. I mean, that looks decent. I don't think that cap part can be there though. So, can I just do that with the 9 patch rect here, or do I need to? No, I should be able to. If I just drag this down like that. Yeah, I can just do that. And that should tile it. It's called being lazy. Oh, is that being stretched though? Oh, it's being stretched. Why is that not tiling? We want to tile this. There we go. And actually, probably what I want to do is actually move this over to this side and use this side. Oh, I guess it's the same difference. Okay. Maybe I will want to draw it a little bit different because it's just going to look the same as the border. So maybe I'm not going to get away with my laziness here. Also, there appears to be a little... So maybe I do want that margin container back. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, it seems decent to me. Still don't know what I'm going to do about the flavor text, but that's all right. Figure that out later. Now this looks like it doesn't have enough padding at the bottom. Is that something that I need to do with this margin container? Or what margin container here? Oh, maybe this one? Why doesn't it look like I have enough padding at the bottom? Maybe I just need to add 6 to the bottom. Let me see. Yeah, let's try that. I wonder if it's just because of the way the borders work. That's not quite right either. I think it would maybe be 7 instead. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now the padding is all nice and even on all sides. And then card packs. This will be okay. These card packs are gonna have a maximum width of 3 cells here. Actually, I could probably increase that to 4 for that screen. But anyway. The most important thing is I want this vertical bar to be in the same spot for each item, which means that whatever's occupying this space needs to be the same width every time. We've got our scroll bar over here. Okay, very cool, very cool, very cool. Didn't recognize the text was pixeled too. Yeah, the text is pixel, yep. The library looks great. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate that. Welcome back to the stream, by the way. And welcome back, E6S. I forgot. I think you told me how to say your name one time, but I forgot. I'm sorry. I still feel the pressure of the wall text. Yeah, this flavor text is probably not going to stay here. I just have to figure out what I want to do about that flavor text. Because without the flavor text, it looks fine. So if I just get rid of the flavor text. See, that looks a lot nicer without the flavor text in place. So yeah. I have to figure out what to do about that. It's fine, just call me the guy you don't remember them. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't read that language, so it's hard for me. It's hard for me. All right, well, I think this is looking good. I want to redo the scroll bar. Got to figure out what to do with the flavor text, but all of this is functional too, by the way. Like this stuff, I mean, it's not, for the characters, it's not bringing in the, is it? I don't think it's bringing in the description for the characters. Also, that broke all of a sudden. Why did that break all of a sudden? These are shrunken down now. Oh, you know what? Maybe I just don't want to do that. Maybe this does need to be 4. Why does that look weird though if I don't add... There's something wrong with this padding. Actually, you know what I could do? Maybe I'll just increase the margin top and margin bottom here. Okay, and then for the character, this has a custom minimum size of 48 by 48. Why does that not look right? That is not 48 by 48. That's 48. That's 45. Okay, so yeah, it's the -3 separation that I'm bringing in. Do I still need that separation? Well, maybe I don't need that. This unlock menu, this unlock item container, why do I still need that? What happens if I don't have that? The character still looks off, but I think, yeah, why did I put that -3 in there? I don't understand. I don't think I need that padding anymore because there's no bottom. Yeah. No, that looks good. That looks fine. Yeah, okay. I think for the character one, though, character unlock icon, I think I was putting extra +2 pixels there. Let's see what this does. We're just messing with paddings at this point. I think, generally speaking, though, this is done. I mean, there's still some things I need to do. So, for example, I need a highlight state for these buttons, which is going to be a huge pain in the rear to do. But now if I do project settings, debug, ignore unlocks, and I go back into my unlock menu, see what the priestess looks like in there. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, that's looking fine. Is it possible to have the flavor text as a toggle for the people that like the lore? Yeah, I may end up having to do a toggle. The other thing I could do is maybe like show the flavor text on hover or something. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, I suppose. But anyway. Okay. Anyway. Unlocks menu is coming together nicely. Thank you, Wooius. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. There's still a lot of quality of life stuff that I need to do in here, but the most important thing is getting the art in place and getting it relatively functional. And I think both of those have been accomplished, so... I'm probably going to handle the rest of the unlock nice-to-haves when I do more of the code for that, because like I said, I still need to figure out what to do about, for example, cards that are not part of an unlockable card pack, but that I still want to show in like a compendium or something. The artifacts already kind of works like that. I guess the problem is I just don't want to show like every single card in this UI. That's going to be a problem from a what is it called? It's going to be a problem from a performance standpoint, I think. Because if I've got hundreds of cards in here and I need to create hundreds of UI elements with the card art inside of it, that's probably going to be a little bit laggy. And also, like, it feels kind of weird to have like a set of card pack, like a set of cards that are part of a card pack unlock, and then like standalone cards here that are just locked until you use them. You know what I mean? So this encyclopedia might turn into more like a compendium or something. Or maybe I move this to like an all cards as the first option, and then there are card packs, artifacts, characters, so on. Yeah, I'm going to need to think about all that stuff, but... Oh, I also need a close button in here. Dang it, I didn't think about a close button. Shoot. Alright. We need a close button. I guess I could just probably put a close button here. Like have an X here instead of the skull. That might work. Oh, there's so much to think about. Hello, conglomerate. Welcome back. Good to see you. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do here is let's actually get this functional in the game in the sense that I can actually bring it up in the game to look at it. So we'll do that. We will do that. Okay. Gotta commit that though before my computer crashes and I lose all my hard work. Which has never happened in my life, but you never know. Right? Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That's what my grandpappy always used to say. Anyway, I'm gonna get... I'm gonna go on a quick 3-minute break. And when I come back, we're gonna start integrating this into the game. And we'll just see how that goes. I'm probably going to need to add a close button. I mean, I am going to need to add a close button to that screen, so we'll see what I do about that. But right now I'm going to be primarily interested in like getting that accessible through various parts of the game. Like ideally I want it accessible through the main menu screen, but also accessible in game so you can just look at it. I think the most appropriate place to put it is going to be at the main menu screen though, because the way that I've currently set up the code is that your unlocks are not going to update during the run. They will only update after your run has concluded. Because what happens is I'm tracking a bunch of stats all the time during the run, and I don't want to necessarily trigger unlocks during the run. I would rather put those on like a post-run screen where it's like, okay, here's all your stats, here's how you did, and then also here's everything that you unlocked, which you can then go into the unlocks menu to look at, to look more at, right? So there's a lot of stuff to figure out, but anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes and we'll continue on. All right, I'm back. Let's see if we can get this done in a reasonable amount of time. Now, here's the thing. The problem with doing those very intricate and detailed like UIs like this is that my other UI looks terrible by comparison. What I could do though is what I might do if I wanted to, like, an easy way of making the UI consistent is I might just take this style that I've got going on here with like these thick stone pillars that are kind of stacked on each other. And I could just do that, just that for like the pause menu here. That might work a little bit better. So maybe I will do that. But anyway, we'll figure that out. There's a lot of stuff to do. I don't know if I'm going to call this. I don't know what I'm going to call this in game, but that's okay. So put unlocks button there. This unlock menu, I'm probably going to need to make this process always, otherwise it will be paused when I instantiate it. Okay. Options menu UID. So I'm going to do this. Public const string unlocks menu UID. I love how it just hallucinates. Oh, it just added 1 to the end of the number. That's funny. Anyway. Copy this UID here. Paste that there. Okay. On unlock pressed. Private void. On unlocks pressed. Unlock menu. Using game to unlock. Okay. So then what we want to do is we want to do an escapable component here in the unlock menu. This priority should be like 250. And then let's do this. Node private escapable component. Escapable component. I forgot how this works. Options menu. Escapable component. Dot escaped on escaped add conditional. Okay, so we're gonna want the conditional as well. We're just going to do a queue free here to start. Okay. On options pressed. Now I'm never disabling the buttons here. I think that's probably okay though. Let's see, merge container. Right, because I'm blocking the mouse events anyway. Oh, this should be stop. Yeah, that should be stop. I don't think I really need to worry about any of the mouse events in here necessarily. This options menu has a dimmer rect. Oh, I probably want to do that as well. Ah. Okay. All right. We're going to want a dimmer rect in here. Mouse, stop. Okay. All right. Let's put a dimmer rect there, which means I don't need to change this. How does that even work? Dimmer rect material as screen dimmer material. Okay, I guess I'll just copy that. Private, color rect, dimmer rect. I need to put the screen dimmer material on there. Ideally, I would make this like its own scene or its own node of some kind, but that's all right. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh wait, I don't think, did I ever connect it? Pause menu. Nope. Unlocks button. My favorite was when Copilot typos my variable names. Yeah. Is there a use case where you'd prefer behavioral tree over state machines? Not really. I actually have a video on this channel. It's the first video in the code review series, I think, where I do a little bit of exploration on the difference between behavior trees and state machines. So you could check that out if you're interested in that. But for all the kinds of games that I've made, I haven't really found behavior trees to be all that more useful or intuitive than a regular state machine. Now, granted, I have never created like some super sophisticated AI with like lots of different behaviors and lots of different conditionality. I think if you had AI that had like highly variable behaviors based on like certain state, then maybe behavior trees would be a little bit easier to manage and reason about. But yeah, like I said, for the kinds of games that I make, there hasn't been a situation where I found an obvious benefit to using a behavior tree over a state machine. Hello, Dev Godot, welcome back. Hello, Dragonaud GD. Behavior trees are probably more usable for more complex usage, maybe. Yeah, and the other place where behavior trees might be useful as well is since they're more like visual and they're built out of like predefined components. It's probably easier for somebody who maybe is a game designer but doesn't have a whole lot of programming experience. It's probably easier for them to design a behavior tree as long as all the tools are already built for them than it is for them to write a state machine, right? So that would be another consideration, is like who's on your team and do you want to enable, let's say, non-technical people to implement the behavior of new enemies? That could be a place to use behavior trees as well. But yeah, if you're just making simple enemies with like a handful of states, my experience has been that state machines are just a lot more straightforward. Okay, unlocks. And it didn't work. Board is not registered. Oh, do I have to register the board in the unlocks menu? This.get board manager dot register board, new board, registration. Is quick move target equals false, board equals board, quick move priority equals 0. Okay. So we need that in place, and then the pause menu. This is layer 20, so we'll make this layer 21. Is behavior tree something pre-built in Godot? It is not, no. There are various very good behavior tree add-ons though, like Behave, Behave. Behave is a good plugin that's very popular. That's actually the plugin that was being used in the project that I did a code review for. And even with me not having much behavior tree experience, I was able to go in and like understand what the behavior tree was doing. And it's that plugin is very nice too, because it actually has like a little dock down here where you can visualize the behavior tree as an actual tree. And while you're running the game, it actually shows you like which states are active and which aren't. So that's definitely very helpful. So if you're interested in behavior trees, I would definitely recommend that one. I need to add a color rect in here. So I don't currently have a background color. And then let's add a margin container. Oh, do this, color rect, that's fine. Bring the margin container in. There. Is it going to be 23 all around? It's not. It's good. Okay. So we just add that color rectangle in the back there. Oh, wait, I missed. Oh, did I do this wrong? Oops. Oops. There we go. I did. Oh, I keep doing this wrong. Margin bottom. Gotta make it on the outer border, not the inner border. Do you prefer top-down or normal 2D style? I mean, it depends on the game, right? Depends on the game. Like, Hotline Miami is probably better as a top-down game rather than a side. Well, I guess I don't really know what normal 2D is. I'm assuming you mean like the typical view that like a 2D platformer is in. But like if you look at Gunforge, like that game is it's kind of like both, right? Like I'm drawing all the sprites as if they're like if you're looking at them from the side, but then the gameplay is kind of like top down where you can just move around the arena. So it's kind of like it's almost like a pseudo isometric kind of thing. Which I think is fine. So obviously that's going to need an animation in, but I can bring up the unlocks menu now from this game. And the only way I can escape that right now is by hitting escape on the keyboard. I probably want this to slide in as well. Maybe we'll make it slide in from the top. But we have the unlocks menu viewable in-game, which is super nice. All right. So that's good. Alchemortis test was pretty fun. I still tried to make builds that weren't just poison, but most of my runs mostly led me to use poison again because it's so consistent. Yeah, I did nerf poison a little bit after the playtest concluded. So I'm trying to make the game less bursty overall. And a lot of that is going to be, so poison previously ticked every turn, but the turns are like so quick in this game and most stuff doesn't execute for like an average of 10 turns. So the idea that you could just apply poison and then just do a bunch of poison damage over the next 3 turns was a little bit much. So I think I made it like, I don't remember if it's like a 3 or 4 turn delay now. So now like so poison ticks a maximum of 3 times. So now that's going to tick over the span of like 12 turns rather than 3 turns. So that slows it down a little bit. I think it's still probably a little bit too strong, but I need to take a broader pass at the game. I want to slow down the combat quite a bit. Now, it doesn't mean I want to make the potential for you to create ridiculous synergies less possible, but I do want to make it, like one of the fundamental problems with the combat right now is that if you've got a long turn cooldown item, let's say it's like 15 turns, there's a good chance that it's only going to execute like 1 time before the combat is over. And that makes it not super appealing to make synergies out of longer turn cards, right? So if I can somehow slow the combat down enough where those longer turn cooldown cards are triggering multiple times per combat on average, I think that would be a little bit more interesting. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes, but that's something that I definitely want to do. Is there any tip to improve my A-Sprite drawing? I saw your A-Sprite tutorial. Yeah, beyond the A-Sprite tutorial, the only tip really is practice. You just got to keep practicing. Study the art of other people, other artists that you admire. Look up pixel art tutorials and practice. Because at the end of the day, like, you're not going to get better just by watching tutorials and tips, content and stuff. You do have to actually sit down and struggle with art to learn how to do it better. So, like, if you would ask me to draw this UI a year ago, it wouldn't look anything like this. It would be probably pretty terrible looking. So, it takes a while. You just have to work at it, which is unfortunately just how it goes. Especially you get the heal back from poison you afflict. Cannot be killed due to that. Yeah, that's true. Hello, Bedro Dev. Welcome, welcome. It's going good. How are you doing? I'm doing real good. Hello, Jeremy. Welcome back. The Unlock UI in game is looking good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. For sure. So we're going to add an animation to this. Options menu. So I'm going to need a pass-through control so I can actually animate this, which should be doable. Do I want to put a pass-through control on the margin container itself? I don't know if that sounds like a good idea to me. Oh, I guess I could just edit. I could just animate this margin container entirely. Maybe that's not a good idea, though. Maybe I'll put a pass-through control here. Drop that under there. Then I can animate this control. We'll call this animation root. Okay, private void, play in. Let's grab the animation root. Animation root dot position is equal to new vector 2. 0 negative animation root dot size dot y. Okay. For our tween, let's store the tween. Animation tween, kill if valid. Let's also do this. Private bool is playing in. Or we'll do is playing out. Okay. Animation tween dot equals create tween. Animation tween dot tween position of animation root to vector 2.0 over 0.75 seconds. Set transition dot cubic. Let's do out. Okay. Private void play out. Is playing out equals true. Kill if valid. Animation root. Yep. That should work. On escaped, we're going to do play out. Okay. Let's see if that works. Recently started using A-Sprite myself. Found Adam C. Eunice. Yeah, that's a good one. to be a good source on why you should do things when creating pixel art and things to think about when designing. Yeah, that's one of the guys that I watched. Pixel Pete is another good one. I like Pixel Pete a lot. Very helpful. Yeah, that's a little bit slow, so we'll just fix that. Wonder if I made it play down instead. I'm going to change this. Okay, let's see what that does. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't need to be fancy. And it dims the screen behind it again. So we get multiple dimming levels, which is nice. So you can tell that if I bring this in, it dims a little bit more. So I can stack those screen dimmer components, which is really cool. Just makes it a little bit more apparent when you've got like multiple screens stacked on each other. So that helps quite a bit. Okay. So the next thing to do is I need to make it accessible from the main menu as well, which is going to require drawing something else. But I think I'm kind of all drawn. I've used all my drawing energy for right now. I just want to see what the menu looks like here. Maybe start thinking about what it could be. So on the main menu here, I've got all these buttons here, right? So this is I guess kind of like the new fancy word that I've recently learned, diegetic. It's kind of like a diegetic menu. Basically, diegetic is just like when the interactable parts of your UI look like they're part of the game world or look like thematically appropriate. So they're not just buttons. So like this settings menu, this is not a diegetic menu because it's got sliders and like the normal stuff that you'd expect. Oh, that's wrong. Oops. So many buttons. There's so many bugs, I mean. Okay, whatever. Where did that go? Yeah. Anyway, so that's not a diegetic menu, but I guess you could consider this a diegetic menu because these look like they're actual props in the environment, but these are the buttons that you click to go into the game, right? So I would probably put maybe something like over here or something. Another kind of like thematic thing to represent unlocks. Okay. Superposition, yeah. What about the icon you use for the artifact selection node, like a pillar of knowledge? That could work, yeah. Do a chest or a notebook. Yeah, a notebook would be a good one. Just like I could lay the notebook up against the tree or something. It's either a treasure chest or a gravestone. The thing there for unlocks. Gravestone would work too. I could see this. I might redo this settings thing. I'm not totally happy with that, but if I put a book here, that could work, but that might be too close to this button. I could just put a book laying up against a rock or something here. Could also put it in the sky somewhere, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We will have to figure that out. But let me see if I can make UI functional. Need to show all possible cards, artifacts, not just the unlockable ones. For cards and artifacts with no unlock conditions, make them unlocked when acquired for the first time. All right, anyway. I think that's done. So I still have these things to do with the unlock menu functionality, which, you know what, it might be better just to split these into separate cards. So maybe I'll do that. Add button to main menu to access unlocks screen. Just fill up my to-do list. For cards and artifact with no unlock, I think it'll just be easier to tackle this if this is just one thing at a time. Need to show all possible cards, card of characters, not just the unlockable ones. This one, need to show all possible cards. And then figure out UX for showing flavor text in unlocks screen. Do I have like a UI thing? I don't think so. The one thing I don't like about this is that when I use tags in the Kanban board here, those tags are shared globally across the whole vault rather than isolated to the Kanban board. So I have other boards with tags that I'm using that show up in that tag list. That's kind of annoying. But anyway. All right, let's see what we can do here. Rework Holy so it does added damage instead of Thorns damage. Let's do that. So I'm going to change the Holy effect. Right now what it does is it does on damaged. It will just deal damage equal to the Holy damage. Or equal to the... Yeah, it will do damage. So when the enemy has Holy, if it has a Holy of 10 and an enemy card, in this case the player card, damages the enemy board, the player's going to take 10 damage. And so that's kind of like, it's almost like an instant death if you've got a lot of things executing very quickly. So I want to change it instead to be more like an offensive thing for the enemy. So it's just going to deal 10 holy damage whenever the enemy executes. Now that might also be very bursty, but that is what I want to do to change that. How do I want to do this? Execution context dot. Do I not have the board in here? Source board, target board. Oh. Wait a minute. No, it should be okay. Get rid of this. Holy damage receiver is equal to execution context dot target board. Okay, initiator board is equal to execution context dot source board. Execution context dot turn context. I think that's how that works. I think that's how... Is that how bleed works? On card executed. Oh, I guess I didn't really need to do that. Execution context. Who's damaging self? Holy damage receiver. No, that should be fine. So let's try it. Let's do ability builder dot damage 1. Let's do holy 2. So this should be doing a total of 3 damage when the turn when the training dummy goes. So we'll see how that works. Is your stream background music from your own collection? It's from my collection of sound effects and music tracks, yes, but it's not music for Alchemortis. I actually liked Holy, one of the only enemy abilities to make me think twice. Well, hopefully it still does that. I think it will just reduce the burstiness. Wondering what the current classical piece is. I actually don't know. Yeah, it's just some game music tracks that I bought from a sound effects pack recently. I'm not intending to use these for any games. I just have it as background music, so. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome. So yeah, Ninja Link, I hope that the Holy should still make you think, because if the enemy board has a lot of Holy applications and a lot of cards, it will still do a lot of damage. But the damage is not going to be directly related to like how bursty your board is anymore. But if we don't like it, we can switch it back for sure. I don't want to do that. Let's just do this one. So this should deal... Yeah. Training dummy applied to holy. Player board took 2 holy damage. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's just a like a kind of like a global damage buff for the enemy. Now, what does Holy do? Does it bypasses shield, right? Yeah. Okay. Holy only really got you if you had a fast physical damage board. I don't think Holy did anything if you dealt damage via status effects. If you're slowing down combat, Holy's going to be nerfed anyway. Right, yeah. That's true. Well, I mean, we don't need to change it then. Yeah, maybe we don't need to change it. Okay, here's what I'll do. Let's stash this as Holy rework. We'll keep it the way it is. If Ninja Link likes it, then we'll keep it the way it is. Okay. All right, that is shelved. Maybe I'll come back to that if holy is still a problem, but yeah, maybe I should just rework or slow down combat anyway before I look at that. I'm trying to think of what else to do here. Let's, I don't really have any ideas on how to improve clarity on when only one card can be taken versus all cards. This was a piece of feedback from a number of playtesters, is that it wasn't clear when you get a card reward when only one card could be taken versus all cards. There's a radical way of fixing this, which is just to remove the idea that you can only ever take one card. That would kind of throw the balance out of whack, though. Apparently, so the card dimmer apparently is not enough to do that. Think simple text of choose one would be fine. Yeah, I'm trying not to use text as much as possible. I know it doesn't really seem like that, but I'm trying where it's appropriate. I'm trying to figure out if there's just like an intuitive way. That's why like the cards are dimmed here. It's supposed to like give you the impression that you can only choose one, but that's apparently not working. Oh, the other thing I need to do is add card tags to tooltip. Had the same feedback, forgot to pass it on. Okay, yeah. I mean, we could just put like choose one here, but I don't know. Is there a different way to do this? I guess the problem with the dimming is that if the tooltip obscures the other cards, you can't really see the dimming. So I'll probably keep the dimming there, but there needs to be something additional there. Yeah, I mean, I could just throw text here, but I don't know if I like that too much. Is this solution going to be used everywhere? You can only choose one, like with alchemy, for example? Did people have a hard time with that, or was that different because you use so often in comparison? That's a good question. I don't think anyone specifically mentioned alchemy. I think people were mostly referring to the post-combat rewards. What if I put it in the... Would putting it in the tooltip make sense? Probably not. Yeah, was alchemy a problem? Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas for that at the moment. If you have ideas, feel free to drop them in the chat, but I'm just trying to figure out something I can knock out here. I do have to go in like 15 minutes, so I'm just trying to look for something quick. Oh, there's so much to do. Create different icons for paralyze, hex, exhaust, etc. We could do that, maybe. I think I also didn't realize the first time I used alchemy that I would only get one, but it's always consistent versus the card rewards after combat versus after a booster pack. Yeah. I think the confusing part is that you get 3 choices of cards from combat and you get 3 choices of cards from booster, but it's not clear that after combat you can only choose one, whereas with the booster you can get all of them. That's definitely true. Have you done language pass on cards that use 2x, 3s versus double, triple? That'd be easy. Yeah, that would be easy. I'm definitely going to do that. But maybe not right now. Well, I'm sorry. This is not super interesting here. I put so much effort into that UI screen over the past couple days that the idea of drawing more art right now is just kind of like not super enticing. Sell and stash text is in. Okay, let me ask you this. So the sell and stash text in the inventory is not super readable. So what I'm thinking about doing for that is, I have skip menu on. What I'm thinking about doing for that is, so stash and sell here. What I could do instead is I could borrow what I did for the unlocks menu here and just make the text like this. What do you think about that? So if it's this style of text, like the orange and red and white, but here in the stash and sell, would that be better? I mean, I'm not going to do that right now either, but that's what I was thinking about doing. Think that would look good? Okay, I'll do that then. Yes, cool. All right, well, tell you what. We're coming up on 2 hours in the stream, and I also have a meeting to get to in like 28 minutes here. So I'll just end the stream there since I can't really find what I want to work on here, but I will probably be doing another stream this afternoon. So if you want, you can join the Discord to be notified when I go live. Typically, if I go live in the afternoon, it's around 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'll do that. We'll come back with another stream, and I'll have something beefy for us to work on at that point. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna hop off. I'll go eat some lunch, and then I'll see you later today, hopefully. But again, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. I would appreciate that. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own synergies and builds. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I very much appreciate it. How about cracks in addition to dimming? Oh, for the card picking? Yeah, that could work. That could work, Balchen. Yeah, I could think about that. Anyway, thanks everybody again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Otherwise, have a great day, and I will be back at it for sure tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, but don't forget, I'll also be streaming later today again. All right, take care, everyone. See you in a little bit, and bye-bye.